education is that great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor. It is through education that the son of a mine worker can become the head of that mine. It is through education that the child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation.
Nestled on the ridge separating Chatsworth and the market gardening community of Welbydach, Beacon Ridge Primary first opened its doors on 28 July 1981. It boasted a predominantly homogeneous learnership of Indian children, both from the adjoining Nikas farm and Montfort, Chatsworth. Yet in a short space of time, the pretty picture of a modern school succumbed to the effect of the rapid social change. The dismantling of the scaffolding that held the abhorrent apartheid ideology together was accompanied by its fair share of challenges. Beacon Ridge Primary School bore the brunt of vandalism, pillaging and plundering to a point where the school was described as the most dilapidated in the greater Chatsworth area. This was accompanied by a mass exodus of learners who sought admission in neighboring schools.
Upon my arrival at this plant, I must be very, very candid, I must be very frank, and I must be forthright, and I must be truthful in saying that I was very, very disappointed. In fact, disappointed to the point where I wanted to actually leave the plant immediately. It was one of the most tumultuous periods in the history of this province, the ushering in of democracy in the 90s. So Beacon Ridge bore the brunt of widespread vandalism.
By this time, the face of Welbydach Valley was being completely transformed, with the farmlands forcibly making way for almost 10,000 one-bedroom RDP homes, inhabited mostly by shack dwellers from all over the province who were part of a slum clearance project. By February 2006, this caused the learner enrollment to rise to 950, mostly impoverished learners, with the school being plunged in a dilemma with regards to providing a decent learning environment.
There's no one to count on me. There's no one to hold me and say it's okay when I cry. When I cry, it's hard to see the sun. It's hard to carry on. It's hard to be strong.
But the community itself comes from a very, very disadvantaged socio-economic background. But with the assistance of very generous sponsors and the Satya Sai organization and many other NGOs, we were able to get the school up and running. And we began to rebuild.
Keeping the vision and the mission statement of the school as guiding principle, together with Nelson Mandela's famous quote on education, the principal and his committed staff put their shoulders to the wheel in transforming the campus.
We learn so much, isn't that so? And we learn all the time. And what did Madiba say about education?
It's the great weapon which you can use to change the country.
It is a great weapon that we can use to change the country. The food parcels are prepared on a monthly basis and given to the learners over and above the meals that are provided for them on a daily basis. One must remember that we owe a debt of gratitude to the Satya Sai Foundation, more especially the members of the Sudha Mandir, who come here on a daily basis and they prepare the meals, they prepare the breakfast and the lunches for these little learners on a daily basis, with so many of them being immunocompromised. Om Bhurvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi.
Despite the severe socio-economic woes confronted by learners and the fact that they live in an area that is crime-ridden, the school has still succeeded in instilling a sense of moral integrity in the children by adopting the very simple adage of do good and be good.
What is the rule of our school?
Be good and do good.
Now, if mommy is not at home, go when I call Lapakaya, the teacher and I call Lapaklasine, Ubani Bona all the time. God is watching us. That is why you can't go and make a mark in the toilet.
Here's a case of a learner who had picked up 1,000 rands, 5 200 rand notes, wrapped into a small square, dropped on the campus by one of my educators. This was 2:30 in the afternoon. There was nobody here besides my teachers in the staff room. And he comes and knocks at the door, asks to see me. And when I try to inquire from him, what is it that he had wanted to see me about, he mentioned to me that he had found this money. The first thing I did was to tell him, listen, bring all the other learners who were with you when you found this money. Can you bring them to me? He says, there was no one with me. When in front of the entire staff, I asked him, what is it that prompted you to come and return this money? And this is what he had to say to me. Tijimkulu, you always say, if nobody is watching, Nkulunkulu wetu is watching.
Despite the daily challenges and the emphasis on academic improvement, life is far from dull for the learners. Through personal examples, educators inspire pupils to consistently excel in a wide range of activities. The establishment of the glass, paper, cardboard recycling center at the school grows environmental awareness, as well as helping the school with much needed funds.
We do different types of recycling. We have we have paper recycling, we have cardboard recycling and glass recycling. They bring the bottles in from home in these bottle bags and they fill up that glass bank. We are actually in a competition at the moment with the glass recycling company and we actually want to win the grand prize of 30,000. So we're going all out to collect bottles. We have a permaculture garden as well. So much of the lessons are conducted in the garden where they have hands-on learning taking place.
The ambitious establishment of the Information Technology Center helps to bridge the digital divide that exists between the have and the have-nots, ensuring a sound foundation for the country's future society.
And the introduction of the center sparkled a great deal of enthusiasm amongst the children to learn computers.
Learners' artwork saw the school winning the much coveted first position in a national art competition conducted by the Bernard Jacob Mallet Financial Institute.
So I'm very proud of my learners because in front of me I have here many of their achievements, that is artwork that, as you can see, has been featured in the BJM calendars. That's how much our learners have excelled.
In almost every field of endeavors, learners demonstrate their prowess in elocution, drama, public speaking, and sports.
Why I have this passion for getting the learners involved in running is because I am a comrades runner myself. In 2011, I completed my 20th consecutive Comrades Marathon, and I used it as a major fundraiser for the school. We raised an amount of 39,000. The same monies will be used towards the building of a school hall There's a lack of personnel and expertise, and Mr. Ndlovu is willing to stay in the afternoons. He also comes from the Welbedat area, and sometimes we have to send these learners back alone to the townships. It's not safe. So I thought it ideal to get him involved, but I didn't think that he would be so inspired that he wanted to attempt the Comrades Marathon. And in 2 successive years now, he has run it.
A superb teacher demonstrates, but the greatest teacher is the one who inspires. And I've seen that in action with my educators.
In a bright and a glorious garland of achievements and accolades that the school continues to accumulate is an underlying, almost hidden thread of pain. How long can the leadership sustain the praises? How long will the sponsorship and goodwill last? Will the pennies from permaculture, or arts, or sports, or drama, or even bottles keep the bellies warm and full? Or will the noble efforts of a fresh young South Africa eventually buckle and fall?
This dinner and dance is intended to bring in the largest amount that can sustain the feeding scheme. But more than that, the funds generated from this dinner and dance must assist the school in terms of its smooth administration, in terms of taking care of its domestic needs like water and electricity, as well as taking care of the day-to-day running of the school. But looking at the bigger picture in terms of our medium-term goal, it's to build a school hall. It'll be a venue where learners can be fed under very hygienic conditions. But the very, very important reason as to why a hall like this will be beneficial to an institution like Beacon Ridge Primary School, the 350 Rand a year school fund is hardly ever forthcoming. Nobody pays me a cent. I can rant and rave. Am I going to get water out of stone? Can I send a lawyer's letter to a gogo who is looking after children that are orphaned? Can I send a lawyer's letter to an unemployed father who's lying sick in his bed with all his ARVs lying next to him? Can I send a lawyer's letter of demand for school fees to a parent or in whose home not one bit of furniture or evidence of food is to be found? So, this hall will help me to generate funds that will make the school self-reliant. They say, we make a living from what we get, but we make a life from what we give. And I must say thank you to all those who gave and gave and gave. But I think it'll be a show of ingratitude to be continuously receiving without making any attempts to become self-reliant.